Welcome back to the second part of our hi-hat tutorial from creatingtracks.com. This is what we did last week. And then we added some variations over here. So today what we're going to do is we're going to take this hi-hat pattern right here and transpose it in different ways and see what kind of things it does for us. So I'm going to right click, duplicate this, and in the new duplicated track, I'm just going to hide these parameters. And in the new duplicated track, I'm going to right click and freeze it. And then I'm going to right click and flatten it. And what that does is it leaves us with just the audio waveform and we lose all the MIDI information and there's no more effects or devices on this track. So I'm going to pull this open and it still does the same thing. And here's what it sounds like. And this is pretty much the same thing as our original track. We've just converted it to audio. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to right click, change the color to keep us organized. And then I'm going to unwarp this audio clip. And then we're going to turn the transpose down by 1 octave. And what that's going to do is it's going to shift the waveform and it's going to time stretch it. And that's exactly what we want. It's going to make it twice as long as it was. And check it out. And you can hear how different this would sound if I were to take it back to 0 and warp this and then pull it down an octave. Then it technically just pitches down, but the tempo stays the same. And that's not what I want to do for this tutorial. So I'm just going to unwarp it and then pull it down by 12 steps. And then check it out. And this with our kick and snare. I mean, how cool is that? So now we're gonna mute this and I'm gonna play the original groove and I'm gonna slowly start bringing the volume up for the new hi-hat track and see how that affects our mix. Okay, that sounds really cool to me. And now we're going to duplicate our... Actually, first, let's rename the new hi-hat track. And I'm going to name this to Hats Slow. And now let's duplicate the original hi-hat track one more time. Right-click, freeze. Right-click, flatten. And now we're left with this audio waveform. The same thing as our original track. Nothing different. This time I'm going to unwarp this and shift it up by 12. And what that's going to do is it's going to make it twice as fast. And instead of having it start from here, I'm just going to push it to right here. So it's kind of doing some weird stuff over here at the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete the second half and copy these two right here. And the reason I'm doing that is because our original hi-hats are going too fast and it makes it really confusing. So I'm going to let this part be as it is. And then I'm going to duplicate this whole thing and check it out. That is very exciting. We've done so many cool things with just one rhythm of hi-hats. And now here's our whole beat. So it's doing some weird part here at the end. So what I can do is I can just delete this part and I'm just going to let it stay empty. And hopefully that'll clear things up. All right, that's really cool. So here's everything together. So you can keep doing your own kind of experiments with this. You can duplicate your tracks, freeze them, and flatten them, and then transpose them up, transpose them down, and keep it warped, keep it unwarped. Just do a lot of different things. And if I keep this warped and turn this down by 12 steps, we're gonna have the same pitch as our slow track, but it's gonna be as fast as our original hi-hat track. And when we layer that with our slow track, it's gonna create some phasing. And what we can do to fix that phasing is change the transpose of any one of our clips by 1 or 2 or 3 steps, and then mix that in with your layers. Okay, this is getting very exciting. And now the last thing that I want to share with you guys is in our fast hi-hat track, we're going to put in a simple delay. And on this simple delay, I'm going to turn my dry wet up to 100%. And I'm going to turn this, the sync off. And let's turn this first one down to about 5, 6, 7, 8. And then the second one down to like 15 or 17, 18, 17. Okay. Now that we have this, I'm going to make this centered. And I'm going to turn the dry wet down. Yeah, I mean, how cool is that? It just makes it so much wider. And try not to do this to every layer in your song or you're going to really crowd up your mix. And check out the whole groove now. I know what you're thinking, and you're right, I am really cool, but unfortunately I have to wrap this up. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and definitely stay tuned for more next week. Until next time.